Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another retro replay cast here from the year 2020. I believe this game has been played, so quite a interesting matchup we have once again in between the pro players. Let me just start by introducing them to you as we have spawning here in the upper left part in the yellow. It is SHOWTIME from Germany, and his opponent spawning here in the upper right in the purple. It is SERRAL, the world champion. So very interesting matchup indeed we have here. Protoss versus Zerg on the ASL map called Stargazers, a 2 spawning location map. And yeah, just like in the previous replays, we are going to be checking out their build orders very soon, as we already see it on the minimap. SHOWTIME opening up here very standardly with a pylon, with the gateway, and already sending out his probe very early to scout out the map. In the meantime, SERRAL also opening up pretty standardly with a fast expansion build order, so nothing out of the ordinary in the early game. Pretty standard stuff here by both players, as the probe is now moving forward, seeing the fast expansion. So SHOWTIME, I believe, is also going to be going for his fast expansion build order. Sees the gas, sees the spawning pool, and knows exactly what SERRAL is up to, and this will of course allow him to also go for his expansion. And yeah, there it is indeed. So as you can see from the timer, quite a long replay, a very nicely macro orientated replay here for both players. Quite an epic game, as the probe is being a little bit annoying here against SERRAL. So yeah, like I said, a very epic game here in between the two pros. Let's see exactly what is going to be happening in the early game, in the middle game, and into the late game. Quite interesting stuff here in between the Zerg and the Protoss. We see the overload from SERRAL moving forward. Very soon the world champion is of course going to know what exactly is going on. There we have the cybernetic score, and I believe SHOWTIME is going to very likely block the entrance with another gateway into this location. Checking the main, there is double gas up, and we do close in towards the 2-minute and 40-second mark, where SERRAL is very likely going to be going for his other expansion point. Currently it's just pretty nicely playing standardly. First queens are about to get spawned. Some Zerglings are out. You can see of course the production tab here in the upper left part, just in case I'm missing something. Speed is also being done here for him, and we have now some researches going on. Warp gate is being researched onto the cybernetic score, as the first Zerglings do pull here forward for SERRAL. Let's see if he's going to somehow try to sneak here forward, as one adept might try to block the entrance here. So yeah, there's the expansion from SERRAL. So the pretty standard open up here for any Zerg, and the first adepts are also out here for SHOWTIME. Let's check his main. He is indeed going for a Stargate, so it was very popular back in the day to go for a starport, but notice that he's going Phoenix first, so he's actually wanting to target the overlord, so not going for an Oracle first to harass the mineral line, straight into Phoenix. And let's see if it's going to be mass Phoenixes. Could be an option here for him, as he's chrono boosting out these Phoenixes and going straight for this one overload right here. Very smart gameplay here by SHOWTIME, but interesting enough, SERRAL has finished speed for the overload, so he really wants to know exactly what his opponent has into his main. Going to see only one Stargate, and tries of course to gain more visuality here as he's moving down into this location, but the overload gets snapped. There is the wall of being completed, and the Oracle is now also out here for SHOWTIME, as he's also scouting the map for any other overlords. He's very likely going to try to also take his expansion right here into this location, but let's see what damage the Oracle can do. SERRAL already prepared for that. One Spore is about to finish exactly on time, and the queens are also here to defend this location. Very nice stuff here by SERRAL. Still staying into tier 1 speed. He's about to... Did he just cancel the speed? It could be an option. Definitely a possibility. I believe he misclicked and just canceled that speed. Quite interesting stuff here by SERRAL. And yeah, the wall of is being pretty much completed, as there is another expansion going up for SHOWTIME. And yeah, speed is being done for the overlords. This means that it could be that we might see SERRAL go for a drop harassment versus his opponent. Sees the Twilight, sees the Forge. Let's see if indeed this is going to be the plan from SERRAL, to just drop here into the newly established base from SHOWTIME, sorry, as we do see some adept harassment. No, actually it's Oracle Oracle harassment, but not that. Actually only one drone has been killed here for Showtime. SERRAL does a very good job into defending, but actually at the same time we do see some more workers getting sniped here. The Oracle is finally being able to snipe some drones. The Queens have to come back to defend, but hold on, the Oracles aren't done yet. They will snipe more and more workers, and this is why some Protoss really like to go into mass Oracles early on. Even around 5 Oracles. We've seen Hero do this onto this channel. 5 Orcs quite deadly into the early game, just sniping more and more of the economy from the opponent. And yeah, SERRAL takes his other base. It's now finally finished his tier 2. Or we're going to be seeing transition into some Mutalisk, perhaps some Lurkers could also be an option for him. Let's see if this is indeed his tactics right here, as the overall is once again moving out. The Zerg is also patrolling nicely the map. Oracles still into this position. Let's see what Showtime can do here, but he is being immediately guarded by some Queens into this location. So great defense indeed by the world champion, not suffering so many losses into the economy. Let's check the Protoss once again. It looks like he's going for some blinking stalkers, as he's also expanding into this location. And yeah, so sees now the gateway, so we might see a transition into mass gateway units. There is Blink getting research weapons 1 for the ground units, and we could indeed see a massive amount of gateway units here from Showtime. And let's see how this is going to work out for him. Perhaps later on he's going to be going for some air units into the late game. Of course, many Protosses really like to go for some carriers, for some Tempests into the late game. And also let's see the reaction from SERRAL. He's still onto Zerglings. This might change into some Roaches very soon. Roaches, Ravagers, some Hydras could also be an option for him. And of course Vipers with Infestors. He's known for his Viper gameplay and Infestor gameplay. Nice pickup here by SERRAL, taking out one Oracle and really nicely spreading the creep around the map. So very good move by him, as the Zerg is also nicely moving here out onto the map. Worker wise, where they see Showtime at 80 workers versus the 72 only from SERRAL. So Showtime with a great economic advantage currently versus his opponent. And let's see exactly who is going to be the first attacking. We still see many gateways going up here for Showtime. Because very soon he might try to launch an attack. He still has even some high temperatures with storms, quite deadly versus the Zerglings. But in the meantime, SERRAL pretty much gaining dominance onto the map, pretty much patrolling the map, and he's now just moving here forward, but the gate is shut with some minerals. And indeed, Showtime, he will have to face some Mutalisk. The Mutalisk could just outfly the Stalkers right here, and the Zerg is actually moving forward. So quite a mistake here by Showtime, as in comes SERRAL gaining control of the high ground with his Mutalisk, with the Zerglings into the main. So what a mistake here by Showtime, leaving the door open. And now the Zerglings are even dealing more and more damage towards the economy. Not only that, but the Mutalisk are now moving forward to snipe the workers here from Showtime. So Showtime with a great early mistake. Now finally he's making it up with some great storms, even storming his own units, and somehow SERRAL being able to save all of those Mutalisks. But there are still some Phoenixes chasing here the low HP Mutalisk. However, after all things have been done, 24, 25 more, even 26 probes have been killed here. And SERRAL might try to transition into some banings very soon, just roll here forward. So this is quite a large gap here, enabling all of those Zerglings to move forward. So a little bit of a mistake here by Showtime that has cost him dearly. 26 workers have been sniped, Showtime falling to 64 workers now. So a great early harassment by SERRAL, and quite unusual. He went indeed for some Mutalisk, and now he's even preparing a drop. Let's see what he has here. Just looks like just Zerglings, massive amounts of Zerglings for him, going straight into this location. But there's 2 Archons waiting for him. I believe it's going to be a double attack here by SERRAL, just to lure the units here from his opponent into this location, making him think that it's going to be an attack here. But notice how the overlords are moving forward. The 2 Archons still on standby, as the Mutalisk will now run forward. But there are Phoenixes, there are Stalkers. This is of course just to give way towards all of those overlords here, to drop the units into the expansion point from his opponent, and more of the economy is going to suffer here. However, interestingly enough, SERRAL actually going for the Archons, so perhaps a little bit of a mistake by him, as the Mutalisk once again do fly here forward, trying to snipe more and more units. So this time Showtime with a great defense here, sadly here for SERRAL, not attacking the workers, just going straight for the Archons, so quite a mistake by him, as those Archons were pretty much ready to melt all of those Zerglings. So this time SHOWTIME with a great defense, SERRAL with a small mistake, attacking the Archons instead of the workers here, and not having any Banings. Banings would of course been great for him, as he's now going for a tier 3, so SHOWTIME making it up, still having lower amounts of workers. It could have been much more deadlier here for SERRAL, even with the Mutalisk flying over, but SHOWTIME having Phoenixes, having Stalkers, having a great counter towards all of the air units from his opponent. And we do indeed have some Roaches now with Ravagers for SERRAL, as we have passed the 10-minute mark. So quite an interesting game indeed. Let's see what's going to happen. Is SERRAL perhaps going to try a drop with some Banings? It would have been much more deadlier. There is only one cannon defending here and a shield battery, as SERRAL looks like he's going to focus into the newly established base from his opponent. And let's see when he's going to attack. Not that many Mutalisks are being left alive. He might just try to poke a little bit here forward, or he might just try to move here forward. It's just one cannon defending here, so the Mutalisk might try to inflict some damage. Indeed, this is what's happening, but there is a shield battery, so damage is being taken by him. At the same time, some workers have been sniped here for some Zerglings, and more workers will fall here. The Mutalisk are doing quite a great job. Not that many Phoenixes here to defend. And a nice attack by the world champion, but in the end he's going to sacrifice those Mutalisks. I believe he's going to transition straight into more tankier ground unit Roaches. Perhaps you're going to be seeing some Ultralisk, as SERRAL once again prepares and drop, this time with Banings, so much better option here for him. Let's see if he's going to be successful into dropping those Banings into this location right here. It's very hard to notice this overload, as he's purple just like the water and the crystals, but hold on, we actually have a major engagement here into the middle of the map. At the same time, SERRAL focusing his overload with the Bangs, but it looks like SHOWTIME is pretty much going to commit here forward. Let's see what's going to happen here. SERRAL should see this, of course, coming forward, and yeah, great reaction here by SHOWTIME, saving those probes, but in the end 5 of them have been snapped. The Bangs are getting some great connections. So yeah, SERRAL showing us the strength of the overload. Perhaps he's going to continue to do this into this location, and in the meantime it looks like SHOWTIME just going to push here forward with his Stalkers, with his Archons. Reinforcements are pouring forward. I believe SHOWTIME is going to try to attack the newly established base. This is exactly what SERRAL is thinking, as he's preparing some spine crawlers, but are they going to finish here on time, as in comes SHOWTIME with his main force, and SERRAL also transferring all of his units. He has now Broodlords. Broodlords, of course, the perfect counter towards the ground units versus his opponent, and the spines will eventually finish on time as the Broodlords are onto the ground. But yes, High Templar Storms, of course, a great counter, a blink forward, but in the end those fields are blocking here SHOWTIME from attacking the important units, those important Broodlords in the air. But perhaps Phoenixes would have been more wiser here, and even some Void Rays would be a great idea for SHOWTIME. And let's see what those Zerglings can do against the newly established base. Not that well defended here, just a couple of cannons, so we might see some Banings roll forward indeed for him. And let's see what SHOWTIME can do here. He's still moving forward. Zerglings are also moving here forward, and still this gap is open, so SHOWTIME perhaps with a second mistake here, as one Forge might get sniped here, so he's going to finish the upgrades here very soon. So nice job by SERRAL. SHOWTIME once again leaving the door open for SERRAL attacking there, and the Banings didn't really get any connections here. However, we do have multiple attacks happening all over the map. Both players are pretty much punishing each other, and the Broodlords should of course be able to hold his, but the great damage is happening here into this location. I believe SHOWTIME is pretty much going straight to snap this hatchery. He might pick up some queens, and he's going straight to kill this hatchery. He's going to lose some Stalkers here. He might have to blink out very soon. You know, some Phoenixes will also be snapped here, so SHOWTIME with some mistakes into the game. He was successful into sniping the hatchery, but at what cost? He did lose quite some units. He dropped to 165 supply, and SERRAL is pretty much maxed out now with a great army amount. So yeah, SHOWTIME now expanding all over the map. Let's check his main. 2-3 starports actually, so he might transition into some air units very soon, as he's still on Stalkers with Archons, and SERRAL just having so many Banings, so many Zerglings onto the ground. So SHOWTIME attacking on 2 different fronts. He's trying once again to snipe the hatchery. He's getting pretty much surrounded. He has to teleport back home. Same time, he might try to snipe this hatchery right here. He's being successful, but once again losing some units for this. And at the same time, SERRAL counter-attacking the newly established base from his opponent. The Zergings will take care of the expansion. Other Zergings will get some great surrounds versus the opponent. And in the end, this will be killed, and also some units will be taken out by the Zerg. So a great counter-attacking game by the world champion, as he's going to try also to deny the expansion right here. But Showtime now with a good defense. Those High Templar Storms, those Archons are of course perfect versus all of those Roaches onto the ground. So SERRAL is being pushed here back, as Showtime actually having 96 workers. So quite a great economy here for him. But he needs to be more careful with, especially with this entrance right here. Finally he leaves a Stalker to defend this location right here. He leaves him on old location and even has a shield battery in the back. And let's see what's going to be the next move. Still both players staying on to tier 1 units. Air weapons, however, are getting upgraded here for Showtime. So we might see some units, some air units very soon for him. We might see some carriers. Tempest would also be very interesting versus the Broodlords. And let's see, some action is about to happen here with some great storms. The Archons are in the front. They should be the one attacking. But yeah, he's just nicely kiting them back and forward. In the end, still more and more action is happening here as Showtime tries to punish, of course, the newly established base. But the Broodlords nicely have found a nice position here, not getting touched by the enemy. Still 5 drones have been sniped. And yeah, Broodlords, of course, the great counter versus the ground units from his opponent, from the Protoss. As we also see some infestors, so we might see some fungals going out very soon. We might even see some mind control versus the Archons out of the infestors, as some Archons are finally getting sniped here, getting surrounded. More banings are getting spawned, so it's a nice game indeed in between the two pros. As slowly but steadily we're closing towards the 20-minute mark. So still anyone's game, a better economy however here for Showtime, but a higher army count for SERRAL, as SERRAL is playing very nicely, very good defense by here. And let's see when or if Showtime is going to react. No mothership for him yet. He might go into a mothership to teleport some units. He's attacking now. Nice kiting here by SERRAL, but two Broodlords will be caught off guard. In come the Fungals, great Fungals indeed by the world champion, as all of those Stalkers are being left behind and getting snapped now by Broodlords and Broodlings. So great stuff here by him, showing us the strength of the infestors. And yes, Showtime tries of course to snipe as much as he can, but SERRAL seems to be all over the place with his Broodlords, with his infestors, just launching those Broodlings onto the ground. Now finally some Broodlords will be caught off guard, but we do once again see those Fungals just slowing all of the units here from Showtime. Showtime really wants to snipe all of the Broodlords, but in the end he's going to suffer so much of the damage here from those Fungals especially, and being slowed down. It's taking more and more damage as more and more units from Showtime are falling here. Reinforcements are arriving, but in the end SERRAL is being able to hold. Let's see what those zealots can do here into this location. They will snipe some workers. Nice borrow here by Showtime, SERRAL, sorry, as in come the Zerglings and Roaches to defend this position right here. In the meantime, once again a blink forward. He's going straight for the Broodlords once again. No Fungus this time, but we do have Lurkers onto the ground. However, there is vision. And yeah, Infestors once again proving to be way too strong, and Hydra-Risk also here. So a small transition here by SERRAL into Lurkers with Hydra-Risk. Let's see how this is going to work out. In the meantime, Showtime taking more and more of those expansions right here, and a very important expansion here, the gold expansion into the middle of the map. SERRAL has to of course react. He has to not allow for Protoss to gain more and more of an economic advantage, as he's still moving here out into this location, shifting towards attacking, and yes, sniping more of those spines. There are some Lurkers onto the ground. The reinforcements are pouring forward. There should be vision here for Showtime, as more and more Lurkers are here present. And yeah, like I told you, very soon we are going to be passing the half-minute mark, 20-minute mark here, as Fungals once again are raining down against Showtime. But Showtime having so much of an army here, he's pretty much going to commit forward. Great Fungals once again, but I believe the hatchery is going to get snapped, so a great pickup here for Showtime. However, once again he's taking damage. Lots and lots of Fungals are getting thrown out versus him, He's able to snap 14 drones, but at what cost? Once again, he's losing more and more of an army. He has dropped to 67 of an army supply here, snapping one hatchery and a couple of drones, but also taking quite some damage, especially out of those fungals. And the Broodwars in the back also dealing quite some great damage towards the economy. And I believe SERRAL is going to try to very likely move here forward versus the gold expansion, but he doesn't know yet, and yet another fungal is he going to be able to snap indeed the Overlord. Meantime, Showtime is attacking just to give time for this expansion to mine more and more of those important gold. He might even try to transfer some of the probes into this location and mine more and more. Let's see, Showtime just focusing once again here into this location. Perhaps he's going to mine the minerals here, or just blinking here forward. Indeed, it's going to be a blink. Sniping some units. In comes SERRAL from the back, but he's busy attacking the other units. And at the same time, we do have a drop here with some zealots. And yeah, some units have fallen. Nice borrow once again. But this is, of course, all being done to give time towards the gold base here, to mine more and more of that gold, and to give in the end Showtime the economic advantage. Yes, he has almost 100 workers versus only 61 from SERRAL. But SERRAL having the upper hand with those fungals, with those broodlords. Let's see what's going to happen. SERRAL losing more and more of those workers, moving here out. Those zealots are quite deadly. He has to borrow the other workers here. And yeah, a nice harassment by the German player. Again, this is going to get cleared, but this time he's attacking on multiple fronts. The economy from SERRAL quite suffering. And let's not forget that this base, this important base, has been not touched. Finally, in comes some Zerglings now. He finally realizes, he sees that there is an expansion. Yes, it's just nicely kiting back and forth. So still we don't have a major transition here by Showtime and by SERRAL. And yeah, those fungals are really deadly against the ground units. Lurkers might even try to intervene here and take out the zealots. Some quite nice stuff here by both players. Still what's worrying for the world champion, the gold base hasn't been touched. More and more gold is getting mined. Showtime just throwing everything he has, buying time for the expansions, buying time for his economy. Look at that, SERRAL dropping to 47 workers versus the 100 from his opponent. And yeah, Showtime just non-stop attacking here, just keeping SERRAL at bay, keeping him at home. Finally SERRAL realizes this, he's moving out with his units, going for the gold base. Now we do see a teleport back, but there's so many lurkers, it could be quite deadly versus Showtime. Yeah, Showtime taking quite some splash damage. A bit of a mistake here by him, but he had to react. He teleported back home in the end. The expansion will finally fall here, and 30 workers will also fall. So finally SERRAL with a good reaction. Still the economic advantage is quite strong, but the army is still in favor of SERRAL, as he's very close by into this location. So let's see what's going to happen. Broodlord still in the air. Infestors, quite a high number of infestors. No Vipers, interesting enough. I believe Vipers will be only added by SERRAL in case there are going to be some carriers or some tempests. So yeah, still massive amounts of infestors. Those infestors, of course, just to fungal, mass fungals the ground units from the opponent. But now we do see a transition into some carriers here for Showtime. And yeah, carriers versus the units from SERRAL. Let's see, SERRAL should of course go for some Vipers, for some parasitic bombs, of course. Fungus with parasitic bombs, quite deadly. We've seen this in previous replays by SERRAL. Is he once again going for this mix? As Showtime nicely patrolling the map and even long distance mining the gold into this location. Let's see where Showtime is going to attack now. We do see some spores here. We do have some corruptors into the air. And yeah, lots and lots of infestors still. So Showtime might just straight transition into mass carriers. We might see a mothership. Yes, indeed, there is the mothership, I believe. More carriers and some interceptors are getting produced here by him. Not that many corruptors being left for SERRAL, as he's looking like he's going to focus once again onto the newly established base. This gold base is quite important. Showtime pretty much ignoring the attack now. He's going straight for the hatchery. He should be able to snap it really fast. Nice pickup here by Showtime, and this is forcing, of course, SERRAL to come back to defend, as he's now moving forward with his carrier, snapping lurker after lurker. So great move out here by his opponent. We even have some orange storm onto the ground just to give more tankiness towards those queens. And now the fungals once again go out. Fungal after fungal getting casted here, and lots of corruptors in the air. Showtime reacting with some high tempo storm. SERRAL is nicely cutting them back and forth, but still Fungals once again slowing down the enemy and gaining more and more of an advantage. However, the economy from SERRAL is crippling. He's at 30 workers now, and still the gold base is pretty much alive. Yes, SERRAL has to react with some lurkers, but lots and lots of golds have been already mined here from his opponent, and it looks like we're going for a small base trade scenario. SERRAL really wants to snap this base right here. SHOWTIME reacting by ignoring it, and I believe he's going to once again move out, perhaps into this location. Indeed, we do have a great move out with a prism with some zealots, and sadly for him, he has no observer just to see all of his units, but the carriers could move forward to attack this location right here, as the gold base has been snapped. So SERRAL very far away. SHOWTIME could react into attacking here into this base with his carriers, with his fleet. We even have some Tempests now, carriers, so we might see SERRAL go into some Vipers very soon, as finally the operation has stopped here and he has to rebuild the base right here. So still an interesting game, but the economy here from SERRAL is quite disastrous. You can see here barely mining any minerals. He has to long distance mine now, and the base from SHOWTIME pretty much is going to be rebuilt here very soon. But yeah, SERRAL is not going to allow this time. So let's see. SHOWTIME still mining from this location, this one right here as well. The other location have pretty much mined out. This one is also still mining from SERRAL, as is now slowly but steadily moving forward with his spores. But yeah, immediately getting snapped here. The Infestus will of course be the main dealer with Fungals, and feedback could also be used against them. We even have a nice mind control, and now there is vision, and once again a mind control to snipe unit after unit. But yeah, the SERRAL really suffering here. His economy has suffered. He has to rebuild this location right here. He has to rebuild this one here as well. Only 27 workers for him, a much higher amount of an army, but remember, the Protoss can fastly rebuild the units, so SERRAL needs to be careful not to lose any units, and this fleet is quite scary from his opponent. Carriers with Tempests, indeed it is going to be here versus the opponent. So let's see what's the reaction from SERRAL, as he's pretty much pinned down. He needs to be careful not to lose the important units, and those carriers with Tempests are quite scary. Let's have a look. He's now pretty much going to focus into defending this location right here. Spores are slowly but steadily moving forward. There are even some high Templars on the ground, so Psionic Storm can also be deadly against all of the masses here from his opponent. Oracle to give vision, and not very many Corruptors are being left here alive for him, as the Tempests are nicely abusing the long distance and just snapping unit after unit. So SERRAL taking quite some casualties. In the meantime, also some Lurkers have to defend here, so the Tempest of course great into the late game. But all that SHOWTIME needs is some vision, as he's once again sniping unit after unit. He might even snap some queens very soon. The important units have to be snapped, and yes indeed, one queen after the other, one unit after the other is getting snapped here as he's moving forward. But we do have mind control now. The carriers are fighting each other. Parasitic bombs should go out very soon, and yeah, the Corruptors will take care now of those carriers, as more and more carriers will fall here after mind control has been used. Even this carrier looks like he's mind controlled, so yes indeed, a great attack this time by SERRAL. But yeah, he's suffering also some losses, and he's not having a straight economy, still losing. Yeah, those Tempests are really doing a great job sniping 2 units once again, and once again he's just not being done. He's greatly moving forward with the Tempests, and yeah, if he continues like this, the Tempest will of course win him the game. Just sniping unit after unit and not taking any damage. He just needs some vision. There it is, the vision, and he might once again move forward, might snipe the spores indeed. So a great battle indeed is going to happen here versus the gold base from him. And you look at that, once again he's sniping a Broodwar. Feedback are being used. So SHOWTIME with a very precise gameplay here, having more of a supply. SERRAL pretty much behind. I don't know if he can come back into this game, as the gold base will once again getting mined out. The Tempest very strong. They might even snap the spores here, currently just snapping egg after egg, as very soon we will pass the 30-minute mark. So quite a strong game here by SHOWTIME, a very precise game. SERRAL not really mining that much, as the eggs will also be snapped here onto the ground. So currently, if you ask me, quite a huge advantage by SHOWTIME. We do see a transition into some Vipers. This is going to be the winning move by SERRAL. We're about to find out, as SHOWTIME still into this location, still long distance mining, and now mining more and more from this location, and even securing this location right here. SERRAL just also securing this location. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen. SHOWTIME knowing this, of course, that this newly established base has to be punished very soon. He's leaving the expansion behind, so SERRAL could punish this as SHOWTIME is moving out. But remember, SHOWTIME also has teleportation, and I believe he's also going for a mothership, so this could be even more of an abuse effect. And now even going for some void rays. So void rays, of course, the counter towards corruptors in the air and also the ground units. And lots of queens are still being left alive here for his opponent, as some probes are getting now suicided by SHOWTIME, as he really wants to have more of an advantage. And he's going into mass shield batteries just to push forward versus the opponent. And in comes SERRAL. He knows he has to attack the expansion right here. Some zealots to defend it. We might see a teleport back from SHOWTIME very soon, or is he going to commit forward into attacking this location? But there's so many vipers, so many queens defending it right now, as the lurkers with their high range will be able to kill all of the cannons. And now SHOWTIME has to retreat once again. So SERRAL once again with a great move out, being able to snipe so many of the cannons and denying so much mining from SHOWTIME, as still this is the only base mining now here from SERRAL. And let's see what's going to happen. The Tempests in the air, carriers also nearby. At the same time, we do see those shield batteries, sadly for him, losing those shield batteries. The lurkers moving out, and some units will fall here for SERRAL as well, but the job has been done. The important shield batteries to push, to force the push here forward, have been sniped. And yeah, SHOWTIME into this location. I believe this is going to be his next target, but it's a nice cat and mouse gameplay, as SERRAL will of course react and attack here into this location. So let's see what the plan from SHOWTIME is going to be here. There is no vision versus the lurkers. He might try to teleport back home. The lurker is quite tanky underneath the ground versus the surrounding storm, and looks like SERRAL is pretty much going to commit here forward. Same can be said here for SHOWTIME, as he's moving out with his units. Just a couple of lurkers, but there is no vision sadly here for SHOWTIME, as he's losing more and more of the units. But the real action is of course happening once again into the expansion points. There is more and more of the attack happening here, as in comes SHOWTIME, but he's going to teleport back, I believe, into this location right here. Yes indeed, and there should be vision. So SHOWTIME securing once again his expansion. SERRAL reacting, moving out. Still quite a large amount of corruptors now, and many queens onto the ground. Not that many broodlords, but still lots and lots of anti-air here for SERRAL, as he has 140 of a supply versus the 126 from SHOWTIME. And let's see who is going to be the one attacking first. It's a nice waiting game, still anyone's game. We do see once again the Tempest move forward to snap unit after unit, but they need vision, they need some observers there, as in comes SERRAL once again to snipe some units here. SHOWTIME staying more behind, but there's not that much gold being left here to mine, and he has pretty good control of to the middle of the map. And once again suiciding some probes here just to gain more of a army advantage. Let's see, perhaps we could see a flank happening very soon here by SHOWTIME. The mothership is in the front, and SERRAL once again attacking with some zerglings, with some lurkers. But this base can be abandoned actually, given the fact that almost all of it has been mined. You could even long distance mine very easily into this location, as the shield batteries will give cover, and I believe that's exactly what SHOWTIME is going to be doing, going to long distance mine here. And SHOWTIME really wants to long distance snipe once again unit after unit with his Tempests, and I believe SERRAL is going to try to abduct the important units with the Vipers. And let's see if this is indeed going to be the tactics right here, as in comes the attack from SHOWTIME. But no, he's actually staying behind SERRAL into the middle of the map, having a good control. SHOWTIME just patrolling the map, not being secured, not moving out. We don't see so many spores actually being left here alive for SERRAL. Yeah, it's still of course anyone's game, a high amount of the army for both players. Let's see who's going to attack first. Lots and lots of Infestors are still being left alive here, so actually only 4 infestors, as we do see an abduct happening here and a sniping. So yeah, let's see if Showtime is going to attack very soon. Pretty much abandoned. No, he's actually deciding to rebuild this expansion, interesting enough. So not deciding to long distance mine, just rebuild it there. And in comes the attack finally here from Showtime with his carriers versus the queens. He's going to snipe the expansion easily, and now we see great storms happening here, but we also have the dark swarm onto the high ground, and those queens are much more tankier here, as we have some great feedbacks against the vipers, and lots of fungus are getting casted here indeed. So nice job here by both players. Even a time bubble has been casted here, so still SERRAL is nicely cutting the units back and forward, sniping some air units. Both players are taking some losses, but so many queens are taking down the interceptors. The Tempest nicely reacting by being kited back and forward, and only 2 workers are being left here alive, as the Zerglings here pretty much taking care of that. But yeah, Showtime now knows that he is pretty much going to commit here forward, but he has somehow lost more of an advantage versus his opponent. The Dark Swarm that has been casted by the queens, very deadly, and yeah, those fungus once again working really well here for SERRAL. And even some abducts have happening here, but still the army is quite scary, as he's now catching the queens cut apart. And let's see what's going to happen. Great fungus once again getting reacted. Dark Swarm is being used by the queens, and the corruptors do take out some damage, but the void race reacting immediately with the plasma shields moving forward. Once again, a great fungal getting casted, great storm, so both players are pretty much throwing everything they have against each other. More and more damage is being taken. It looks like Showtime still holding his ground, nicely kiting back and forward, but the fungals will keep him at bay. Some Zerglings do move forward, but Psionic Storm is immediately catching them off guard, and not that many corruptors are being left here alive for SERRAL, so much better engagement here for Showtime. He knows this, of course. He's going to be able to snipe unit after unit with the units, with the Tempest, with the carriers, and actually he's sniping more and more, so SERRAL taking more and more losses here versus the fleet from Showtime. Now all of a sudden he has to retreat back, and after all the damage has been done, Showtime dropping to 77 of an army against 90. But remember, there's so many Zerglings still here being left alive, some lurkers, so this air fleet right here will have the dominance versus the opponent, versus SERRAL, and I believe he's going to try to snipe the queens. It's exactly what he's doing, sniping queen after queen, having great vision. Just needs to be careful not to lose the mothership, as the Zerglings do pull forward. What exactly can they attack? Just air units here from Showtime, and one great fungal once again catching all of the units. Showtime has to hold his ground. Now the queens are moving forward, kiting forward, trying to snipe carrier after carrier, and yeah, nice kiting back and forward by both players. And it's just queens being left, but not that many interceptors actually being left here for Showtime, as he's going to try once again to snipe those queens with the Tempest. Perhaps Mass Tempest would have been a better idea here for him against the carriers. And it's a very interesting game indeed. The Zerglings are pretty much useless. Only the queens will deal damage towards the air units, some lurkers, and Zerglings are finally moving out here for SERRAL, as in comes the attack towards the base. Still some infestors are being left alive, but in comes the attack. I believe it's just Tempest attacking now. The carriers are pretty much depleted. There are no minerals to rebuild those interceptors. Notice that there are no interceptors here from the carriers, so the carriers are pretty much useless now. It's just the queens attacking now versus the Tempest, as yeah, the carriers just pretty much look here what exactly is happening, and at the same time SERRAL counter attacking with the Zerglings, trying to gain the advantage here, trying to snipe more and more of the buildings. So how many Tempests are still being left alive? 4, as both players do take some losses, but we do also have those Void Rays, so it's 2 Void Rays still being left alive in the Tempest. So what exactly can SERRAL throw versus this? If only the infestors could deal some splash damage with the parasitic fungus with fungus actually. And yeah, let's see, SERRAL is moving forward with his units right here. The same can be said here for Showtime, as he's also attacking here. It's quite funny to see the carriers not doing anything. And yeah, now some Oracles are also moving here out. So it's going into a base trade scenario. However, we do have some Void Rays behind, and the Void Rays should of course be able to take care of all of the Zerglings on the low ground. We even have some shield batteries. So this looks like Showtime is going to be able to win this game, or is he? With the Void Rays he should be able to of course snipe Zergling after Zergling, and even some Oracles are being left behind to gain visually of the opponent. So let's see what's going to happen. Showtime Toys will try to attack from the low ground. There's just only one Corruptor versus anti-air. We do have the Infestors and the Tempest nicely dealing damage towards this one. Corruptor is getting, however, healed by the Queens. In the end, he's going to fall. We do have Mind Control, but versus what? Just the Tempest, so the Tempest will fall unless Shadow is attacking it. So now it's going straight for this unit right here. And a great micro war we have indeed here with Mind Control. Even some Oracle is attacking now the ground units, and the Queens will also take quite some damage as 2 Tempests actually are being left alive. So what an interesting game indeed we have here. So the Lurkers are not being taken care of, and actually those Zerglings are also still attacking here. So the Void Rays have retreated. I believe a little bit of a mistake here from his opponent. And finally in come the Lurkers, the Void Rays, but the Zerglings can actually borrow, so this is an advantage for SERRAL. He could actually just borrow those Zerglings. That's exactly what he's doing. And there is no vision here sadly for Showtime. I believe he has one observer. No, he actually doesn't even have an observer here, so only Revelance can be used. And with that, all of a sudden SERRAL actually having the advantage here. The Void Rays are patrolling left and right, but SERRAL is nicely abusing the fact that he can of course borrow his units, and there is no observer in the air, so there's also no money here for Showtime to go for an observer. So while a great move all of a sudden here for SERRAL, as he's being able to deal more and more damage towards the buildings here from his opponent. Remember, in StarCraft you actually win a game if you snipe all of the buildings from your opponent, as the carriers are still watching what exactly is happening here, and some Queens are just pretty much attacking back and forward. And finally the Void Rays do move here out, and even the Queens get bored. So what a great move, and what a great spell to have for the Zerg, as more and more of buildings are falling here left and right. Some Lurkers are also getting nicely spreaded, dealing more and more damage towards the buildings from the opponent. And yeah, the carriers are still flying around, not attacking. The Tempest will take care of the Overlords, but in the end I believe SERRAL should have the upper hand with his Zerglings, as they nicely getting borrowed here once again with his Lurkers. There is no vision sadly here for Showtime, and if this is continuing like that, I believe Showtime is going to lose this game versus so many borrowed units here from the Zerg. Nice abusive gameplay here indeed we have from SERRAL with the borrowing, and all of a sudden I believe SERRAL might have done it here. Yes indeed, there is the GG, and SERRAL with a crazy game here, thanks to the borrow, thanks to the fact that there was no vision, there was no observer here. Perhaps the outcome would have been different if there would have been an observer here for Showtime. Those Void Rays would of course be able to take care of that. Yeah, but still no workers being left alive for Showtime. And what a great comeback it was here for SERRAL. So perhaps Showtime would have also had the advantage if he would have went for Mass Tempests instead of those carriers. But yeah, it's still a great game by him. What a great 42-minute game here. Quite an epic game from both players. In the end, SERRAL proving to be too strong. The Fungus were also greatly executed. The High Templar Storms were also nicely executed by Showtime. But in the end, those Vipers were also really strong with the Abducts. And yeah, in the end, Showtime proving to be this time too strong for his opponent. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Tommy signing out.